Hello and welcome to the Nuremberg Messe podcast. I'm your host Shanakshi Chakravarti, and this is the one-stop platform where we bring you all the industry insights from the industry experts themselves. When it comes to the broadcast and satellite technology, there is tons of technology available, tons of things that we need to talk about because it's an ever-evolving industry. When it comes to visual technology, there are pioneers, and today at Nuremberg Messe podcast, we are very happy, honored, and pleased to be talking to Mr. Rohan Chahande, who is the managing director at Eizo. Eizo considers themselves and is in fact the pioneer when it comes to visual technology. Mr. Rohan has a rich body of experience of over a decade in the creative market in VNS, which is vertical end systems, and of course, Eizo, a Japanese company that has its major presence not just in Japan but also now in India. We will be talking more about that on this podcast. Mr. Rohan, thank you so much for being with us and taking this time out to speak to us on this podcast.
Thank you so much, Sonakshi, for all the arrangement you made for today's podcast. I'm looking forward to the chat forward.
It is our pleasure indeed. I want to dive right in and ask you, for the uninitiated, what is the Eizo story?
So, Eizo story is very interesting. So, Eizo is a Japanese company. Eizo itself meaning is image. So, from 1968, we kept our focus on creating a specialized visual technology product line and solution for different verticals. We are in 4 different verticals catering to the worldwide mission critical applications. So the first vertical we cater to, that is creative work, CW. The second vertical we cater to, HC, healthcare vertical. The third vertical we are catering to, that is DuraVision, VNS. And the fourth vertical where we are catering, that is enterprise business. So we are in 4 different business model. Our overall offering to the marketplace is value towards imaging change solution. Our solution provides a great experience to the mission critical applications. If you ask me our journey in India, we initiated our operation on 5th of April 2023. It means we are a very young company today in front of you. So in 2023, we started our operation, and our journey, it's really interesting because Indian client who always loved Eizo when it comes to their first choice towards the creative user or first choice towards the mission critical application for the doctors, they always prefer to work over the Eizo technology. And when we stepped into the India market, everyone gracefully welcomed us. Right. So we are looking forward to make this journey more interesting and more appealing to the Indian marketplace.
Well, it certainly sounds like an exciting journey for Eizo in India, especially in the Indian market, which is a market that is constantly and ever evolving, especially when it comes to the media, entertainment, broadcast and satellite industry. Which brings me to the question, and to understand this further, what do you consider are some of the key highlights and achievements of Eizo, the company, especially in the Indian market so far?
So Eizo is a global multinational company, and our presence, our strong footprints are across the world. To be very specific towards India, Indian marketplace is the very dynamic marketplace. We see that India's digital appetite have changed very exponentially. And with this change in their appetite, the consumption, we also scale and expect our business to grow in a multifold direction and in a multifold speed. So Indian marketplace, again coming back, saying that 1.4 billion population, we can accommodate the 4 different countries in the India. So we have that kind of potential available. So this market is really emerging for us, elevating the experience on the infrastructure side, elevating the experience for the user on their pipeline side. It is very important. So we talk about the creative work. And the creative work, when you talk about the VFX, animation, post-production, we are one of the preferred brand because we talk about color sensitivity, we talk about color accuracy, we talk about high level of color reproduction and high level of productivity. So I can give you the answer in a very different way, but if you are very specifically asking about India, so I would say that Indian marketplace is very important for us. and we are taking all the measures to address the Indian marketplace today.
So, Mr. Rohan, I'd like to then further understand how has Eizo really adapted to the changing landscape of the display industry, and do you, in your personal and professional capacity for the time that Eizo has been in India, do you foresee any upcoming revolution in the display industry?
So Eizo is a pioneer in visual technology solution. We are the legend in this particular topic. So we know how to adapt the new technology and how to introduce the new technology. How that is going to change the entire workflow. So when we talk about the ISO in terms of trained, we are always on a forefront. People always look up to us, what we are introducing, what we are bringing, what we are showcasing, what we are offering. So in visual technology space, our experience from 1968, it is more than 55 plus years of experience. Our key focus is having in-house R&D, in-house manufacturing, in-house quality control, and ISO's own algorithm and AI function takes us more ahead than the existing competition around. So that's our core competency. On top of it, made in Japan product, which always give you the satisfaction, relaxation, as well as the confidence that you are using one of the reliable and the quality product for your use. So that way we can say that we can eliminate all ongoing competition or market dynamics because of our legendary experience.
Legendary experience.
Yeah.
Interesting. You mentioned that because what sets ISO is what my question was, since you mentioned competition as well. What sets ISO apart from its competition in the visual display solutions market?
Very nice question. The answer is our dedication in R&D, our dedication and our expertise in elevating our own experience and elevating our own technology with our own algorithm, as I mentioned. We offer technology which is giving you a different kind of value addition to the pipeline. We are just not a commodity product. We are just not a product which are there in front of your desk. We are making a solution for making your workflow more easy. We are today addressing the encoding solution. We are addressing decoding solution. We are addressing the solution on the monitor per se, where the color gamut are very important to reproduce the true color. So we talk about every angle of capturing the images and processing the images.
Okay. So, Mr. Rohan, since we are speaking so much about the broadcast and satellite industry and the visual technology in India, in your assessment, how do you see and what is your assessment really of the broadcast industry, let's say in the last couple of years in India, in 2022, 2023, and how does ISO really plan to drive this business given in the Indian market?
So Sonakshi, this broadcast industry is very dynamic industry again. And today the way shift has moved from SD to SD, SD to 2K, 4K, and now it is moving towards SDR. So the shift is very strong, and we witnessed this shift after the COVID. ISO as a company, we wanted to introduce, we already there, and our existence is very much vital into the broadcasting space. When we talk about our technology, we are going to address the entire workplace by offering the high-end resolution monitors. Those high-end resolution monitor will eliminate your day-to-day challenges when you do the post-production work. On top of it, we wanted to lift the experience of visualization. By providing our technology, the total visual quality of footages, the visual quality of content will automatically increase and lift, so that the visual experience for the user and the audience, it lifts automatically. So that way we wanted to cater to the broadcasting industry with the ISO portfolio.
And how do you really plan on driving this business in India, particularly say since you've entered the market?
So ISO,
any plans?
Yeah. So broadcast industry, as I said, itself is very big. If you go to the south, there is a different language, different requirement altogether. If you go to the north, if you go to the west, everywhere there is a different requirement. And we, being India as a country, we have more than 1,000 broadcasting registered channel. So we wanted to drive a forward strategy with the broadcasting, addressing as a broadcast one of the segment. So in broadcasting, we have the Color Age series available in our Color Age series, which caters to the creative work. And within the creative work, the broadcasting is one of the sub-segment where we are catering today. So our product line is available, but along with our existing distribution channel, which is there in north, south, east, and west, we are going to more and more focus with them to address those regional pockets. So that's our driving understanding. We are going more regional with the global understanding. Yeah.
Interesting. More regional with a global understanding. That, in fact, is a message that we can take away. And for your audience specifically, I want to now get into the specifics of how remote production, cloud and hybrid cloud solutions have been increasingly used, especially which has dramatically, in fact, accelerated by the pandemic. Your comments and Eizo's strategy on this development. What will be Eizo's strategy when it comes to remote production and hybrid cloud solutions?
We all know that we witnessed this hybrid workflow after the COVID. It was a new normal for us. We adopted that new normal very effectively. And Eizo brought a different kind of value addition while offering our existing solution in the new requirement space. So Eizo as a company, when you say a lot of people are working from remote location, now the global conversation getting more localized. And when we do that localization, your place doesn't matter at all. But the technology plays a very vital role to connect with your subject and connecting with your, end user requirement. So when we talk about entire workflow, Eizo as a company, Eizo as a solution for the creative workspace, we are having the color navigator software built in inside the monitor. No matter from where you're working, no matter where your base is, whether you're in Coimbatore or whether it is in Solapur, no matter your location, you can work for the multinational, you can work for any kind of post-production activity by accessing the Color Navigator network software. You can remotely access all the content, you can generate the content, you can create the content and share amongst with your global companies, which are already blazed out of different part of the world. So our existing product offering, the hardware monitor, comes with the utility software called the Color Navigator network software, will ease your workflow in this new adaptation of changing the work. And there we are talking about saving a lot of cost, the cost effective, because cost per seat calculation in India and behind every multinational it is there, cost per seat. So when you work from your home, you can eliminate rest of the cost. So, but in that fashion, you need to have technology ready to sync with your requirement, right? So our technology is viable, visible, and more effective to do and fulfill your ongoing task when it comes to the post-production and broadcasting.
Right. And since when we started speaking, right at the start of this podcast, you mentioned about how several verticals is where Eizo specializes in. I'm curious to know, how does Eizo manage to do this? How do you, as a managing director of this company, manage to ensure that it is at the top of its game, from creative to healthcare to vertical markets? Take us through, how does the company manage to cater to so many verticals at once?
Yeah. So our business model speak about our offering. So what we talk today, that is value imaging chain solution. Our imaging chain solution is the entire business model which we offer. Without that business model, we will not be able to amplify our business growth, no matter where we are. But India is a changing landscape in terms of infrastructure, in terms of new technology adaptation. So when we talk about infrastructural upliftment in India, when we talk about socio-economical upliftment in India, at the same time, you need a product which can uplift your entire workplace.
Right.
So today, When we talk as Eizo, our core focus to develop a niche and mission critical application product line. And this product line, when we talk for the India, it is very much needed because there are hundreds of new airports are coming. There are new public sectors are coming. There are new content requirements are coming, right? So because of digital appetite have increased exponentially high, we have space everywhere to cover. On top of it, especially addressing this key vertical, we have the experts. We have the expert who understand what exactly the user required, how the user are changing and experiencing the change on their workflow. So we understand, we listen to them very consciously. After listening to the user requirement, we made that adaptation in our technology. Once we adapt that, it becomes completely tailor-made solution for you as a user. So we offered a technology which is tailor-made first. Second, our approach towards market is customer-centric. We design, we develop, we approach towards the customer upliftment, customer experience upliftment. Our long-term engagement with our value chain offering is to address this different critical market, carrying the deep focus, carrying the deep passion, dedication, and commitment to lift their experiences. So that's what my answer is.
So catering to technology that is tailor-made for every user, that is also, if I can say, is the secret to how Eizo really manages to cater to so many verticals at once. It is also important to talk at this point, ladies and gentlemen, that Eizo is a Japanese brand. It is a global brand with roots in Japan. And we all know that India and Japan share a very special, strategic, but a very special association and partnership. So if Mr. Rohan can help us understand and take us through this Indo-Japanese relationship and how Eizo plays a role when it comes to, say, a product development or introducing new technology or making alternatives to certain technology, revamping certain things. How do you infuse in the Indo-Japanese special relationship?
Wow. So I'm especially a Japan lover. I like a Japanese culture a lot.
Right.
And luckily I got the Japanese company for my, professional engagement. So if you see the overall picture, the history and the background of India, we have very close association with Japan. Our preferences as an individual are more towards, when we select the technology, we look at to the product which are coming from Japan first. So that is already there. So we are very much convinced with the Japanese technology and the offering from the Japanese people in the technology space. So we are convinced on that front. On top of it, when we discuss largely how we are going to change and how we are going to see this ongoing transition, so Eizo understand the market requirement. We are constantly doing the market research. We constantly looking at the global demand. As we have the success story globally, we can see and sense the demand which is going to be there in India as well. Because our global experience is very important.
Right.
Now, it is just not Indo-Japanese, but it is more as a global, because we are the global citizen today. We are talking more local with the global flavor.
Right.
So it is very interesting topic, but day by day, these requirements technologically are creating a lot of challenges. Challenges happen mostly after the COVID. Before COVID, things were different.
Yeah.
So today, if you wanted to address very specific subject, then you need to have a very strong technological backbone, where Eizo is having that from the beginning. From our inception, we are talking about visual technology. So in that specific visual technology space, no other organization maintain their strong focus. That shows our passion towards the subject of visual technology first. That shows our commitment to lift the visual technological experience through our offering in imaging change solution. So coming back to your original question, I must say that Indo-Japanese relationship are a very important and separate when it comes to the trade relation.
Yeah.
But moving ahead, Japan, the way they are inventing the new technologies, it will automatically help to their neighboring countries, and you must say that their their, the countries where they have very strong relationship. So the India is one of the country where we are carrying a very strong historical relationship with the Japan. So that is end of the day going to help a lot of in very different way to the infrastructure and to the trade benefits also.
Mr. Rohan, what is also important when it comes to businesses in today's time and age, sustainability, being sustainable is the talk of the town. And when I say town, I mean globally. Businesses are talking, discussing, and debating sustainability and becoming more sustainable. I would like to ask this question specific to Eizo as well. Not because it is a Japanese brand, but because as a brand, as a business, how does Eizo really plan on contributing and working towards sustainable growth and development and contributing to the topic of sustainability?
So, sustainability. Sustainability, it's a very vast topic.
Yeah.
And everybody around the world today is focusing towards adapting and supporting to the concept of sustainability. So sustainability overall, if you understand, so we see two different things here. So first thing, technological sustainability. If you're asking that specific technological sustainability, I must say that the Eizo is the only company who has acquired all the compliances related to the sustainability. We are the company, we are the only company, I must say, that acquired lot of compliances which are taking us towards zero carbon emission. Our FlexScan category enterprise product line are the product which will give you a very different experience when you work over these monitors, where you work over this technology, visual technology. Our monitor consumes the lowest power. Our monitor consumes the lowest, reproduce the lowest carbon. So our carbon footprint are very low, if you say. Our monitor will help you to increase your productivity. So the sustainability, one, towards your environment, sustainability towards your workforce, your people, your organizational assets. So the people who are working in your organization, they also need the good product where they can uplift their experience and bring more productivity during their working hours. So our technology really helps to talk about it. Globally, we have received several awards when we talk about sustainable engagement. We, as a manufacturer, our objective to support and strengthen the nature and the natural resources. So we are the company who are also using a lot of recycled plastic when we manufactured our monitors cabinets. So there are a lot of things to talk about it, but to be very specific, if we talk about sustainability, the sustainability topic is going forward in IT healthcare. It is also going to IT sustainability. So there are many topics within the sustainability, and we are trying to contribute as much as possible through our technology and offering.
Mr. Rohan, actually, it is important also to talk about sustainability. It is something that is the talk of the town. It is something that globally businesses are talking about, debating and discussing about, to such an extent that companies are now taking pledge. They're taking sustainability pledge. I would like to ask you, how is Eizo contributing or working towards such a sustainable growth? Have you as a company taken any pledge of that sort?
Sonakshi, as a company, our visionary president, respected Jistumori-san, he already given a pledge to everybody where we promise that we will contribute in the best way possible. And with our existing portfolio, we are offering zero carbon emission footprint. We are moving towards that. The second thing, our product line itself offers and brings a different kind of experience overall for the organization in terms of sustainability. So first, our product line is completely ergonomically driven. So it is sustainable when you work in front of those technologies for almost 8 to 12 hours. Second, our product consume lowest power. So because of lowest power consumption, your overall contribution towards the energy saving, it also goes parallelly. The third, we are the company carry the one of the top level of compliances in terms of sustainability. So our commitment towards the environment is very solid and strong. We as an organization moving forward to practice and educate all our key stakeholders or our customers that how this sustainability topic and subject is essential to address, and therefore as a solution ISO is available. So on one hand we are providing the solution for the multinationals, for the enterprises with the sustainability offering through the PlexScan category. On the other hand, we as a company itself practicing that by introducing zero carbon emission footprint and moving towards more and more less carbon footprints. So that's my answer.
In fact, it is interesting to know that your company, I beg your pardon, Eizo as a company has taken a pledge, which only goes on to show that how serious the company is about the topic of sustainability. Which brings me to my last couple of questions as we would conclude this podcast. What are some of the major pain points in your assessment when it comes to creative professionals in this industry, when it comes to visual technology and display industry? What are some of the pain points that professionals go through, and how does ISO address these challenges?
Very specifically, creative work. Today we see a lot of Hollywood, Bollywood, Collywood, Mollywood, Tollywood, Sandalwood movies getting produced. And day by day, the complexity on the color reproduction is coming forward. When we address the complexity of color, because the color are very vital when you do the color editing, color VFX, and all sort of things to bring your content together. So the day-to-day pain points for the user is color accuracy, the color incompetency. So there we have the built-in technology, built-in calibration sensor, which is itself available within the monitor, which pops out from the screen. It calibrates the screen and goes inside. So that latest second generation of technology, which ISO offers with the color management software and with the built-in color navigator network software, you can do a very easy work. The most important factor in the studio line, if you work on large size studios where 500,000 of users are working day in, day out, working Jungle Book or working on Marvel cinemas, they need the color accuracy throughout the pipeline. There we play a very vital role. The user required a constant and stable color today, tomorrow, and day after. Just ISO is the only company who makes sure that what color you are seeing today, it remains the same even after 3 years. So that our contribution to the creative users. Largely, they have more and more challenges apart from the color. Color seems to be a very big topic, but they have other challenges we call as back-end challenges, which we need not to address today. But from this point of view, I must say that the color is most important factor for the user in the creative industry.
Mr. Rohan, you are the managing director of ISO, and we can't leave this podcast without asking what are some of your principles that drives you to ensure a continued success and innovation in the company, and if you have any managing directors tips and tricks for future managing directors of this industry. How do you go about?
I don't know. I wanted to give you a very practical answer to this. I don't want to talk philosophical. You need a passion to drive anything. You need the strong commitment towards what you wanted to, achieve. These two key things are very important when you strive to do something bigger and larger. Your picture should be the larger than the canvas, right? And now when we talk about ISO and the leadership, the vision, we have very laser focused understanding. In the visual technology space, we wanted to be a number one. Successfully, we covered number one position in different vertical globally. But in India, we wanted to carry the same footprint moving forward from 2023. As a leader, I really want my team member and the entire organization to bring a very strong commitment towards the customer. Our approach is customer centric. The the clients are the valuable asset for the organization. We have to bring everything to ease their pain, give them the different level of experience with the quality of technology, giving them a different level of experience when you provide the service, giving them the latest understanding about what is going to happen in terms of technological adaptation. So if you do that, I think your vision towards making the strong growth and creating a strong history for your future generation will automatically come in place. So my answer in nutshell, you need to have a strong commitment and great passion to drive.
And any secrets, any tips and tricks
Oh my God.
on what does a managing director do on his weekends? Anything?
So I just do the work that I can say. Apart from that, on the weekend, if I get a time, I just do practice Ikigai. It's a Japanese way of living. So I prefer to stay Indo-Japanese way. So if you
Even on the weekends.
Even on the weekends. So we found a lot of Japanese culture around the city and the things like that. So I prefer to engage myself in those kind of activities on the weekend.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rohan. That was very, very kind of you. But if I may just ask on a goodbye note, we would say thank you and namaste. But is there an Indo-Japanese way of saying thank you?
Arigato gozaimasu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rohan. Thank you very much for being on the Nürnberg Messe podcast.